In this video, we'll cover how to move display objects around on the screen using the transition library in Corona SDK. The Corona transition library makes it possible to move, rotate, fade, or scale display objects or groups over a specific period of time. We'll talk more about groups in an upcoming video. The most common transition function is transition.to. This is used to transition a display object from one state to another over a specific period of time. The basic syntax is transition.to and pass in target and params. Target is the object to transition. This can be any standard display object or even an entire display group. Params is a table of key value pairs specifying the control parameters of the transition along with the final object properties. There are a number of optional control properties that can be used to control aspects of the transition itself, including time, delay, delta, transition, onStart, and onComplete. It's also possible to affect the final object's properties using these methods: move, rotate, fade, scale, and resize. Let's look at a simple example of transition.to in action to see how things work. In the video on displaying vector objects, we learned how to put a rectangle on the screen using display.newRect. Now let's make a square move from the upper left corner of the screen to the lower right corner. We'll start by storing the dimensions of the screen in local variables. In previous videos, we've broken variables out onto their own individual lines, but Lua lets us use a shorthand method of assignment that combines everything on one line. Since you might see this format used in other third-party code examples, we'll use it here in our example. Then we'll create a local variable square and assign it to a display object using display.newRect. Then we'll set its fill color to red. Using transition.to, we can move the square to the lower right corner of the screen over a 1.5 second period of time. We can also add an additional parameter to fade the square's alpha over the duration of the transition. If we run the code again, we can see that the square fades as it moves across the screen and then finally disappears when it comes to rest. If we want to make the square reappear, we can use an additional transition.to to set the square's alpha back to 1 after another 2.5 seconds. Now the square fades out as it moves across the screen and then reappears after 2.5 seconds. More details on how to use transitions can be found in the Transitions Guide on the Corona Labs website. And that's a quick look at how to move display objects around on the screen using Corona SDK. Learn more about using Corona SDK at coronalabs.com/university.